Hey, how's everybody doing? So it's about 1:30 in the morning. Uh, Trying to get some sleep, and of course I can't because of all this damn industrial noise, machinery noise, whatever it is. It's uh, specifically making this noise. I'm not entirely sure, but I am about 95% sure that this noise is coming from Casting Solutions. There may be other businesses in the area operating machinery and heavy equipment and such contributing to the noise, but Um, to the best of my knowledge at this point, this is solely Casting Solutions. If anybody in the area has any ideas as far as if there's any other businesses operating that's contributing to this loud, extremely loud noise, then please mention it in the comments so I can make sure and add them to the investigations. But I'm gonna sit you all outside so you can hear just what it sounds like at 1:30 o'clock in the morning in Zanesville, Ohio. Here you go. Oh, isn't that nice? Isn't that nice? That nice, loud roar of all the machinery. That I don't know what that is. Like a ringing noise. It kind of sounds like a, tornado siren. On top of that, you know, this is the type of thing that morons allow. This is a clear indication that the public servants here in Zanesville, Ohio, and Muskingum County are completely moronic and don't understand how to do their job and what their job actually means, or what the laws mean and the definitions of the words therein that they're supposed to. Quite frankly, these laws are corporate laws, or corporate charters and so forth. These codes only pertain to businesses, corporations, and so forth. And instead of applying the laws accordingly, the way that they were meant to be, as established by the legislature, these incompetent public servants twist the truth, twist the facts, and instead of holding corporations, companies, business operators accountable, persons accountable, they come after men and women and hold men and women to the standard that corporations and companies are supposed to be held to. But because men and women don't understand their rights and don't know what their rights are or where their rights come from, they allow a coward that's hiding behind a badge and a uniform to tell them, dictate to them what their rights and quote-unquote privileges are, because they give up their rights when they interact with these people, because they don't simply know. For example, the word understand. When you tell a public servant that you understand them, that means you stand under them. That means that you submit to their word, to their power. You submit to them. That makes you a slave. It's little things like this little wordplay that they use to trick us, and then completely ignore their responsibilities, like this loud, ridiculous noise that's screaming throughout the whole entire community at all hours of the night that shouldn't be there. It's supposed to be quiet at night for a reason. And if you people can't get it through your thick skulls, then I don't know what to tell you. But frankly, all the creative interpretations that people have put in the comments, and the creative interpretations of the disturbance of the peace code and stuff, such that Zanesville public servants like to creatively come up with. Frankly, this isn't kindergarten where we use our imaginations and just feel whatever we want to feel. We define how, whatever we want based on how we feel or whatever the nonsense is. This is reality. This is reality, and this is how it works. The laws that are established by legislature are written in a way using specific words, and those words have definitions. And the definitions of those words, when those words are used in certain ways, give the phrase or the sentence or the saying, however you want to look at it, whatever you want to call it, gives it context and gives it meaning. So if we pay attention to the words, if we pay attention to the context and the meaning of the codes or quote-unquote laws, then we would realize that it's the public servant's responsibility to bridle the corporations. And in this instance here, and in many instances here, it's upside down, it's backwards, where men and women are being held to a higher standard than what these cowards are willing to hold themselves to. And on top of that, they're unlawfully applying the codes and statutes to men and women and ignoring their responsibilities and the fact that these codes and statutes really only apply to corporations. Look at the definitions. Look at the definition of the word person. You won't find the word man or woman in the definition of the word person. The closest thing you can find in the definition of the word person, according to Ohio Revised Code and even U.S. Code, is the word individual. But even the word individual doesn't describe a man or a woman. It describes, if you look at the definition according to Black's Law, it describes a newly born child. And it describes an individual as a newly born child, born with the cull, the afterbirth. See, once that's separated, you have two separate beings, and the call, the afterbirth, is what is given the all caps name that you see like on your driver's license and that sort of thing. Don't take my word for it. This isn't my my setup. This isn't my deal. I'm just telling you how it is. When you are born, there's a corporation set up in your name, and in your all caps name, and they trick you into thinking that you are the corporation, when in fact you're not. You're the beneficiary of the trust that's set up, this SKV trust that is established when you are, quote unquote, born or birthed into this world and processed, or dare I say registered. There's a trust that's created for everyone that's born since 1933 here in America, in the U.S. I should say, that when you're born, you get a birth certificate because your parents register you, and that birth certificate has a number, and if you notice, the certificate is on bonded paper. So if you look up that number, I can't remember off the top of my head the exact website, where you can look up the trust. You can see the amount, the value of that trust that was created when you were born. Again, don't take my word for it. This isn't my word. This isn't my ideas. This isn't my theory. This is based on facts. I've looked up mine. You can look up yours. If you want to be skeptical, be an idiot. I don't care. Everybody's entitled to be what they want to be. If you choose to be an idiot, then so be it. But if you want to look into it, if you want to prove it to yourself, which, hell, you owe it to yourself to know the truth, look it up yourself. Get your birth certificate out, look up that number at the top of the certificate, and there's videos online that can walk you through the process on how to look it up, where to put the information in on the website, and what the information means specifically. I'm not going to get into all that. I'm not an expert, but I'm just telling you how it is. So, just FYI. But anyways, so this noise out here, it would be nice at some point if these idiotic public servants would pay attention. This is the kind of thing that I've been complaining about for, over 3.5 years now, that these public servants can't seem to pay attention to. They can't seem to get it through their thick skulls. They would rather attack me, just try to destroy me, destroy my life, because that's what cowards do. They hide behind their so-called power, and they attack what they think they can destroy, instead of just doing their jobs. Frankly, I don't see how attacking me because I want peace and quiet at night is protecting and serving anybody, let alone the community. Maybe themselves. I guess that would be safe to say, is that they serve themselves by attacking me, by coming after me, charging me frivolously and fraudulently with telecommunications harassment because they're too stupid to figure out their job. Because quota hire dispatchers can't take a complaint that they're required to. It's their job to. There is nothing in the quote-unquote law that says that a dispatcher has the choice to do whatever they want, or to play games on the phone, or to hang up on people, or to ignore law violations in the community that they are required, because they're the ones that chose to take that position to work for that particular corporation. They're the ones getting compensated by that corporation to do a job, but now I guess they're not required to. They're getting pandered to. They're getting paid to do the job, but they're not required to do the whole job, just part of it. And they can pick and choose who they want to do the job for and who they don't want to do the job for. Well, that's contrary to established laws and practices. So if you all are okay with that, you really need to take a look in the mirror and examine yourselves, because if you're okay with these public servants doing whatever they feel like they want to do at any given moment in time, well, it's only a matter of time before there's an issue that you have that you think that the police department or the city should take care of, because, of course, this is all written down in black and white, so to speak, in the codes and statutes and laws that bind these people, that tell them what to do and what not to do, and But I guess when we live in a day and age when people don't read, they just watch Facebook videos, TikTok videos, and all this nonsense, and they just believe whatever somebody says. They don't bother validating it themselves, or God forbid they read the laws, the codes and statutes that I'm referring to, or that might even pertain to their own situation. No, they leave it up to somebody else. They leave it up to a grown up to figure out, because their feeble little brains can't quite handle it. So, I think I'll leave you guys there with that. Let me check here and see if this noise is still screaming about. Oh, see, look. How about that? See? See, it got a little bit quieter. Not much, though. It'll probably kick back up here pretty soon. Anyways, hope you all are staying safe out there with all the snow and ice. And, it doesn't take a whole lot of effort to pay attention. It wouldn't hurt to, get up to take a piss. I mean, middle of the night, you hear this noise, it doesn't make any sense to me how people aren't bothered by this. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. This kind of noise. I mean, I've lived in areas that were less disturbing than this as far as noise levels at night, and found people complaining a lot more to bring down the noise levels at night, because businesses were out of control. Business operators were operating their machinery and heavy equipment at all hours like this, but it wasn't even as loud as it is here, and the community came together and squashed that shit. But no, here apparently, people don't care. I guess they just burrow themselves away in their house and probably turn on fans and all kinds of crazy shit to make all kinds of extra noise to drown it out, so they don't have to hear it, so they can find a way to get some sleep. But God forbid, anybody want to actually get some peace and quiet, some natural peace and quiet, and not have to make special accommodations to the property just so they can find a hole in their home that they can find some relative peace and quiet in. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. And here, after 3.5 years, with myself and others that are complaining, that have been complaining about this, it hasn't ever been addressed appropriately. It's obviously still transpiring. So, I mean, that's proof in and of itself of how truly incompetent people like David Tarbert are, Emily Tarbert, people like Don Mason, People like Tony Corey, Doug Murray, uh, Sergeant Patnaud, uh, let's see, Lieutenant Schilling. You know, if some of these people are even still with the police department, who knows? Probably, because they seem to hire cowards. Um, let's see, Jordan Blanton. It's just to name a few of the idiots, the incompetent people that hide behind their uniforms, their positions, their titles. Uh, and actually, I'll leave you with this. The Constitution, if you read it, it says very plainly that we are not to take titles of nobility. Now, you can do a little search and you can figure out what titles of nobility are. But one specific title of nobility that I can tell you is Esquire. Esquire is a title that is also known as squire. So one step down from a knight, from the quote unquote medieval days of kings and queens and kingdoms and that sort of thing. So Esquire has been a title freely given in recent times to attorneys like Don Mason. Don Mason here in Zanesville refers to himself as Esquire. He claims that the state of Ohio granted him this title, and so that's why he uses it as a moniker, if you will. So that's unconstitutional. It says very plainly that titles of nobility are prohibited, are forbidden. I can't remember the exact word. Not authorized. I mean, it doesn't matter. They all pretty much mean the same thing. But yet, for some reason, Don Mason and many other attorneys and people registered with the bar have been, quote unquote, given and have, quote unquote, taken a title of nobility. This action, according to their own admittance, is unconstitutional. Period. So, just something to think about. If they can't even pay attention to the Constitution to not give themselves a title of nobility, to attempt to set themselves apart from the rest of the population, to attempt to set themselves above the rest of the population as if they're better than we the people, that's unconstitutional. I don't care how you split it. I don't care how you slice it. I don't care how you paint it. It's unconstitutional. And the sooner you people get that through your thick skulls, the sooner that we can start to identify these problems and fix them in these communities and in this community where these public servants are out of control. They're acting unconstitutionally. They're taking unconstitutional titles. They're ignoring their responsibilities, their duties, their obligations set forth by the laws that bind them, codes and statutes and so forth, which are corporate in nature, corporate codes, and only apply to corporations. Again, if you, look up the definition of the word person, you will see that a person is a business, corporation, individual. There's several other words to describe or identify what a person is, but a person is not a man or a woman. Again, this is not my idea. This is not my theory. This is based on the Supreme Court. And I have cited that particular case in the past, and I will have to do it again just to remind you all at some point that the Supreme Court has ruled that men and women are not persons, period. So, with all that being said, do the community a favor. Pay attention. It doesn't hurt to, listen once in a while. Maybe turn the TVs off and turn all the music off and the loud fans and turn all that shit off. Because all that's doing is allowing you to hide from reality. It's nice that you can get a relatively decent night's sleep, but what about the community? What about the rest of the community that you don't want to pay attention to because you want to protect your career or protect your reputation or whatever that means? I mean, it amazes me. Because I think I would rather have a reputation of somebody who stands up and says enough is enough than somebody who has a reputation of a coward that says, you know what, I'll overlook this malfeasance, I'll overlook these law violations, I'll overlook these hazards because I don't want to say anything, because I don't want to give anybody a wrong impression of who I might be. That's a coward in my book. Cowards get what they deserve. So, yeah, do your best not to be a coward. But, yeah, with all that being said, it doesn't take a whole lot. It doesn't cost you really anything to pay attention. A few moments of your time. Use your God-given ears and just listen. Pay attention and say, hey, that is loud. That's loud noise that shouldn't be there. And had the community have had responsible public servants that want to earn their paychecks, well, they would address they would have addressed the issue a long time ago. But no, it's easier to come after people like me. But what they don't understand is that they've gotten themselves into hot water by doing so, because they broke the law. They violated many laws doing what they did to me. And that's all on the record. That's, again, not my theory. That's not my hypothesis. It's not just my idea. That's been recorded. That's what the evidence shows. The interactions, the recorded conversations, the recorded interactions, the court proceedings. It's all on the record. And I'll be honest with you, I can't wait to file in the federal courts. I can't wait to see what the federal court's going to say about all of this, because they're going to lose all of their supposed immunity. And these people are going to be held to account for what they've done, because they are not allowed to act outside the bounds of the federal Constitution, federal laws, the Supreme Court, all of those laws that are set forth by those bodies, that limits what the states are allowed to do. But the states are not allowed to act contrary to the Constitution for the United States. So just keep that in mind. And if you're skeptical, if you don't think I'm telling you the truth, look it up. Read it for yourself. Read the Constitution. Read where it talks about titles and nobility. Read in Ohio Revised Code 715.49, sections A and B, where it says specifically that it's the municipal corporation's responsibility to address noise and disturbances in the community, whether they are coming from inside the city limits or outside in the county areas, in the surrounding areas. It says it pretty clearly. Of course, I'm paraphrasing. You can read it for yourself, what it says verbatim. Excuse me. But, again, don't take my word for it. Only a fool would do that. I'm telling you where you can go to validate what I'm saying. You can read the disturbance of the peace. You can do all that stuff and see it for yourself if you want to. I mean, if not, then, I get it. People are lazy. Don't really care. But there will come a time, at some point, when you find yourself not being able to enjoy your property or needing service from local public servants, and you reach out to them, and because of your own ignorance, they walk all over you and turn your life upside down and act unlawfully, and then you can't figure out why, because, well, after all, that's what their job is supposed to be, to uphold the law, not turn people's lives upside down. So, yeah, I just encourage you all to know the truth and let the truth set you free. Stop believing all this bullshit. Stop believing the lies. Stop believing the hype, the propaganda. Learn how to critically think for yourself, and I'll tell you, we might just begin to turn this around and make the world a better place, but more specifically, the community here locally. God bless you all, and y'all keep your heads up.